If you're waiting for someone to come and save you, they won't. No one can live your life for you, and no one can fail for you. The question is, how many years are you willing to lose while waiting? This is the moment to reclaim your life, and it starts right here, right now. Have you ever felt like you're stuck in a life that doesn't quite feel like yours? You wake up in the morning, not because you're excited about the day ahead, but because the alarm clock won't stop ringing. You drag yourself through the motions, commuting, working, responding, pretending everything is fine, yet inside, there's a quiet voice whispering, "This can't be it. This can't be the whole point of my life." You look around and it seems like everyone else has it figured out. Friends post their promotions, vacations, new homes, smiling families. Social media paints a picture of progress, of achievement, of happiness. And there you are, tired, drained, and wondering if you've missed the secret manual that everyone else received. You tell yourself, maybe things will get better when I find the right person, or when my boss finally sees my worth, or when life finally gives me a break. But deep down, you know the truth, you've been waiting. Waiting for someone to notice. Waiting for someone to rescue you. Waiting for circumstances to magically shift. And that waiting, it has a cost. It's not just days passing. It's your life slipping away, piece by piece. Maybe you feel like a failure because you're not where you thought you'd be at this age. Maybe the weight of responsibility, bills, career, family, has buried your dreams so deep you barely recognize them anymore. Maybe you're just tired of fighting battles no one else can see, the self-doubt, the loneliness, the quiet fear that you're running out of time. And sometimes, in the silence of your own thoughts, the question creeps in, is this all there is? You push it away because it scares you. But it keeps coming back. You know something has to change, but the idea of starting over, of carrying all of it on your own shoulders, feels overwhelming. If this feels like your story, you're not alone. Millions of people are silently living with the same heaviness, the same exhaustion, the same longing for someone to step in and show them the way. And yet, here's the hard truth, no one can live your life for you. No one can fight your battles. No one can carry your dreams except you. This is not about blame. This is about awakening. Because the life you want, the meaning, the strength, the freedom, it won't arrive in the hands of someone else. It begins the moment you decide to stop waiting and start moving. So before we dive deeper, I want you to hold on to this question. If you continue waiting for someone to save you, how many years of your life are you willing to lose? Let's face it, life doesn't break us overnight. It happens slowly, quietly, in ways we barely notice. One compromise here, one disappointment there. 1 year you're full of ideas, energy, and hope. The next, you're stuck in routines that don't inspire you, doing work that drains you, surrounded by people who don't even know who you really are. And because this decline happens so gradually, most of us don't realize how far we've drifted from the life we once dreamed of. It's like falling asleep on a train and waking up in a place you never meant to be. You look around at your job, your relationships, your daily patterns, and you wonder, how did I get here? Here's what often happens. We grow up believing that someone else will eventually guide us to the life we want. As children, we rely on parents, teachers, mentors to tell us what's right. As adults, we unconsciously keep waiting, for the boss to recognize us, for the right partner to complete us, for society to finally reward our hard work. But life doesn't work that way. The hard truth is, nobody is coming. And yet, many of us spend decades pretending they are. We wait for approval before taking a risk. We wait for motivation before we start. We wait for clarity before making a choice. And in the waiting, we give away our most valuable resource, time. Think about it, how many times have you told yourself, I'll start when things calm down. I'll try again when I have more energy. I'll pursue my dream when I'm more stable. But that stability never fully arrives. The perfect moment never shows up. And so, year after year, you stand in the same place, looking at the same wall, hoping life will shift on its own. There's also another problem: comparison. We measure ourselves against others constantly, and in doing so, we convince ourselves we're behind, broken, or simply not enough. We scroll through feeds filled with curated success and ask, why not me? Why am I still here? This cycle breeds frustration and shame, until it feels safer to stay stuck than to risk failure. And then there's the exhaustion. You tell yourself you're too tired to fight, too drained to start again. The truth? You're not just tired from work or responsibilities, you're tired from carrying the weight of a life that doesn't belong to you. That fatigue doesn't come from effort. It comes from misalignment. When you live a life that doesn't match who you are, every step feels like dragging chains. But instead of confronting this misalignment, many people numb it. With overwork. With distractions. With endless scrolling. With pretending. We silence the voice that says, this isn't it, because listening means we'd have to change. And change is terrifying. This is the problem. Not that you're weak, or incapable, or unworthy, but that you've been waiting. Waiting for the world to change. Waiting for someone else to give you permission. Waiting for life to become easier before you start living. And here's the tragedy, that waiting can consume years, even decades. Until one day, you wake up and realize you've been surviving instead of living. You've been existing instead of becoming. So here's the turning point: once you recognize the problem, that waiting is stealing your life, the next question is, what can you actually do about it? The answer isn't about flipping your life upside down overnight. It's not about chasing some grand, impossible dream tomorrow. It's about reclaiming your power in small, deliberate steps. Because the truth is, you don't need to rebuild the world in a day. You just need to begin. Let's start with a simple mindset shift: stop waiting for permission. Nobody is going to tap you on the shoulder and say, now is the time. Now you're ready. That's your job. Every meaningful change in history began with someone deciding, I will no longer wait. The moment you make that decision, your life shifts. So what does stop waiting look like in practice? It means writing down the dream you've been hiding from yourself, even if it feels ridiculous. It means taking one action today, no matter how small, that moves you toward it. Not a week from now, not after you're less tired, not after you've figured it all out, today. Here's the paradox: clarity doesn't come before action. Clarity comes because of action. You don't wait to feel ready to start. You start, and through the process, you become ready. Imagine this: you want to get healthier. You don't have to know every detail about nutrition and exercise. You can simply begin by walking 15 minutes a day. That action creates momentum. The momentum creates confidence. And confidence leads to bigger steps. That's how lives transform, not through giant leaps, but through consistent, intentional steps. And here's another key principle: choose alignment, not approval. So much of our exhaustion comes from chasing validation from others, bosses, peers, even strangers online. But the only real question is, does this align with who I am, and who I want to become? If the answer is yes, then you are already on the right path, even if no one else claps for you. Of course, you will stumble. You will face fear, doubt, setbacks. But here's the gift of owning your life: every failure becomes your teacher, not your jailer. When you fail while living someone else's script, it crushes you. But when you fail while living your truth, it strengthens you. Because at least you know you're walking your own path. Take responsibility, not as a burden, but as freedom. The moment you accept that no one is coming to save you is the same moment you realize you don't need saving. You need courage. You need action. You need persistence. And all of those are already within you. So, what's one action you can take today? Call the person you've been avoiding. Sign up for that class. Write the first page of that book. Apply for that job. Walk into that gym. Send that message. Take the smallest step you can imagine. Then tomorrow, take another. Because here's the truth, your life doesn't change when someone else shows up. It changes when you do. Let me tell you a story. There was once a man named Daniel. From the outside, his life looked fine. He had a steady job, a small apartment, bills paid on time, and a circle of friends who thought he was doing okay. But on the inside, Daniel was suffocating. Every morning felt heavier than the last. He would wake up, stare at the ceiling, and wonder if this was all his life would ever be. Daniel used to have dreams. He wanted to be a writer. As a teenager, he filled notebooks with stories and ideas. He once promised himself he would publish a book before he turned 30. But life happened. He chose the safer path, an office job that paid the bills. He told himself he would write later, when things settled down. But later never came. Instead, years slipped by. The notebooks gathered dust in a box under his bed. One night, Daniel hit rock bottom. He came home from work, exhausted, and sat in the dark. The silence felt unbearable. He realized he had built a life of waiting for inspiration, waiting for someone to believe in him, waiting for the perfect time. But as he sat there, one question echoed louder than the silence: if I keep waiting, how much of my life will I lose? Something shifted. The very next day, Daniel did something small. He pulled one of those old notebooks out of the box. He reread his words, messy and raw, but alive. For the first time in years, he felt a spark. He told himself, I don't need to publish a book today. I just need to write one page. So he wrote. Not every day at first, but enough. Some nights he was tired, but he still wrote a sentence. A paragraph. A page. Slowly, he built momentum. 6 months later, he had 100 pages. A year later, he finished his first draft. But the story isn't about publishing success. It's about what happened to Daniel as he reclaimed his life. With each page, he felt lighter. With each page, he rediscovered his voice. And with each page, he realized something powerful: nobody else was ever going to write his story. That was his job. Daniel's life didn't magically become easy. He still had bills, responsibilities, and tough days. But he was no longer just surviving. He was creating. He was alive. And here's the truth hidden in Daniel's story: you don't need a massive breakthrough to change your life. You don't need someone to rescue you. You just need to start writing your own pages, whatever that means for you. For Daniel, it was literally words on paper. For you, it might be starting a business, rebuilding your health, learning a skill, or simply deciding to live with courage. Daniel stopped waiting, and that made all the difference. His story is not unique, it can be yours too. So here we are, at the end of this journey, but also at the beginning of yours. We've walked through the pain, the waiting, the weight of living a life that doesn't feel like yours. We've named the problem: that waiting for someone else to rescue you is the silent thief of your time. We've opened the path, taking small, courageous steps, choosing alignment over approval, deciding to show up for your own life. We've seen it through a story, that transformation is possible, even from the darkest places, when you stop waiting and start acting. Now it comes down to you. No one else can walk this path for you. No one else can live your life, fight your battles, or carry your dreams. That is both the hardest truth and the greatest gift. Because if no one else holds the key to your life, then you are free. You are not trapped by their choices, their timing, their approval. You are the author. You are the builder. You are the one. Maybe today, you still feel tired. Maybe the weight hasn't lifted yet. That's okay. Transformation doesn't happen in an instant. But here's what you must remember: the smallest act of courage today can ripple into a lifetime of change. One sentence written. One step walked. One truth spoken. one dream pursued. Those are the bricks that build the life you're searching for. And yes, you will stumble. Yes, there will be days when you feel like giving up. But remember this, failing while living your truth is still victory. Because it means you tried. It means you showed up. It means you stopped waiting. So I ask you, once more. If you continue waiting for someone to save you, how many years of your life are you willing to lose? Let that question stay with you. Let it challenge you when you want to delay. Let it guide you when fear whispers, not today. Because the truth is, today is all you have. And it's more than enough. At the end of your life, you will not regret the times you tried and failed. You will regret the times you refused to begin. So begin now. Stop waiting. Step forward. Take back your story. Because no one can live for you, and no one can fail for you. This is your life. And it's waiting for you to claim it.